In the movie, Milton lived alone after losing his wife, and often felt lonely and ignored by the world around him. One night, a spaceship crashes in his yard, bringing an injured alien named Jules into his life. Keep watching to know how Milton's life changed with the arrival of the alien. In the beginning of the film, we saw an old man named Milton in a small provincial town in Pennsylvania. He was about 80 years old and lived alone after his wife passed away. His son had left home, and now his daughter took care of him. She helped him with everything, but often felt very upset about it all. He regularly attended city council meetings and requested the construction of a road in front of his house. He spoke a lot, but his requests were always turned down. One day, when his daughter returned home, she handed him the expenses for the entire month. She also suggested that he should see a psychiatrist because he was slowly forgetting things. Milton clearly refused her suggestion. His daughter didn't argue much after that. She just arranged food for him and left. That night, while Milton was sleeping, he began to hear loud noises coming from the back of the house. When he went to check, he was shocked to find that a spaceship had crashed in his yard. He quickly called the rescue team to report everything and asked them to come immediately, but they hung up thinking it was a prank. The next morning, Milton attended the council meeting again and presented his usual request to build a road. However, just like every other time, he was ignored. Later that evening, while he was at home, he started hearing noises again from the back of the house. He went to investigate once more, and this time, he discovered an injured alien lying on the ground. The alien was white, and upon seeing it, Milton immediately called for his daughter. Unfortunately, he was unable to reach her again, which made him very upset. In the morning, Milton went to the council meeting once again. This time, his neighbor, who was a writer, stood in front of them. She announced that she had written a book about elderly people who were left alone. She expressed her hope that both young and old would communicate with each other to overcome loneliness. She requested permission to put up posters throughout the city promoting this idea. The council members agreed and felt happy about this program. Afterward, Milton stepped forward to complain that there was an alien in his house. He explained that the alien spaceship had crashed in his yard, ruining his entire garden and all the plants. Naturally, no one believed him, so they ignored his complaint. Frustrated, Milton left the meeting. On his way home, he encountered his neighbor, the writer, and another neighbor who was a singer. They expressed their anger toward Milton for saying such pointless things, warning that it would make people not believe elderly folks. Milton thought to himself that the alien must have died, so he decided to return to his backyard. When he got to the garden, he found the alien still alive, but in bad shape. The alien lay on the ground, wounded. Feeling pity for the creature, Milton covered him with a blanket since he was shivering. He also gave the alien some water to drink. The next morning, Milton saw that the alien was still sitting outside his house, wrapped in the blanket. Milton waved at him and invited him inside. He offered the alien different foods, thinking he must be hungry. However, the alien only ate a slice of apple. This made Milton think that the alien really liked apples, so he went to the store and bought a lot of them. He told the cashier, "You know, I'm buying these apples for an alien. He likes them a lot." The cashier was surprised and thought Milton was crazy. Once home, Milton turned on the TV to watch the news. They reported that something had fallen from the sky, later identified as an alien spaceship that the police were searching for everywhere. While reading the newspaper, Milton didn't pay much attention to the news. Soon, the alien arrived at Milton's house again, looking much better than before. Seeing him improved made Milton very happy. He then gave the alien a tour of his home and even prepared a separate room for him to live comfortably. Milton shared stories about his family, explaining that his wife had passed away and his son had moved to California. He mentioned that his daughter visited occasionally. Later, Milton started watching his favorite dance program on TV and encouraged the alien to watch, saying he would enjoy it a lot. The following day, while Milton's daughter was shopping at the store, the cashier mentioned that her father had been talking about an alien. He said, "I am buying apples for the alien." Hearing this surprised her, so she took half a day off work and went to her father's house. She once again urged him to see a psychiatrist for a checkup. This time, Milton simply said yes, prompting his daughter to leave his house. Milton received a call from his neighbor, who was a writer. She asked to use his printer, and Milton replied, "Yes, come over." After a while, the writer arrived at his house. As soon as she entered the room, she was shocked to see the alien sitting there. Milton then took her to the back of the house and pointed out the alien spaceship. He insisted that he wasn't lying about having an alien at home. The writer realized that the alien seemed very innocent and harmless. She suggested to Milton that they needed to hide the alien from the government, fearing that officials would conduct experiments on him and other creatures from outside Earth. Milton agreed with her plan. Meanwhile, the writer's friend, who was also their neighbor and a singer, noticed the writer's car parked outside Milton's house. She wondered why the writer had gone there. At the same time, the government was making a significant effort to locate the alien spaceship, and the FBI had joined the search. Days passed, during which the alien lived comfortably with Milton. One day, Milton discovered that the alien had drawn pictures of cats on several pages, with 7 cats on each page. Milton thought the drawings were made for him, and this made him very happy. When Milton went outside, he saw that the alien had fully recovered and was now trying to repair his spaceship so he could return home to his planet. The next day, Milton went to the psychiatrist with his daughter. The doctor conducted tests and asked numerous questions, but Milton provided incorrect answers. His visit to the doctor left the alien alone at home. To keep the alien company, the writer visited him and began talking to him so he wouldn't feel bored. During their conversation, the writer mentioned that her daughter had moved to another city and had a very cute son whom she had not yet met, which made her feel sad. Meanwhile, the doctor, after hearing about Milton's forgetfulness and the alien, expressed concern about Milton's mental condition. He warned that if things continued this way, Milton would forget everything. The doctor suggested that he either get an assistant to take care of him or consider moving to a nursing home for better care. Milton felt upset upon hearing this, so he expressed his feelings to his daughter before leaving the doctor's office. The writer asked Milton how he was doing and what had happened during the checkup, but since Milton was in a bad mood, he went to his room without answering her questions. Milton felt very upset and sad. He felt sorrowful that his children treated him this way. They did not give him any time and they thought he was crazy. After some time, Milton began to talk to the alien. He said that he did not believe he was a good dad because his children did not want to have any contact with him. They had left him completely alone. The alien listened to everything very carefully but did not say a word. That night, Milton called his son again to try to repair their relationship. He wanted to tell him how he was spending his life and how his daughter was helping and caring for him. However, his son did not respond this time either and hung up the phone. This made Milton feel even worse. The next day, the writer brought a t-shirt for the alien named Jules, which was also the title of the film. Meanwhile, the singer was at home watching the news. The report announced that anyone who provided information about the spaceship that had crashed would receive a reward. She thought to herself that she wanted to get that reward. She remembered that Milton had mentioned the alien spaceship had crashed in his house, so she secretly went to his home. When she arrived, she saw the alien sitting with Milton. As she stepped in front of them, they invited her inside. However, Milton was not pleased with her presence. Then Milton showed them the alien's drawings of cats. Upon seeing them, the singer suggested that perhaps the alien was trying to communicate something through these drawings. Meanwhile, the FBI intensified their search for the spaceship. The following day, the singer returned to meet Jules, bringing another t-shirt as a gift. She began to talk to the alien because she liked him very much. At the same time, the writer received a call from a boy who wanted to meet her after seeing posters for her show. This news made the writer very happy, and she invited him to her house. When the boy arrived at her home, he asked to use the washroom. The writer told him to go to her room. However, since it was taking too long for him to return, she went to check on him. To her shock, she found him stealing in her room. Terrified, she ran to call the police, but the boy caught her and began to hit her. Although Jules was at Milton's house, he sensed what was happening. Believing the boy was hurting the writer, he decided to help her. Using his powers, Jules connected his mind with the boy's mind and caused the boy's head to explode like a bomb, killing him instantly. After a short while, the police arrived but could not comprehend how the boy had died. The writer explained everything, but the police were still confused about how someone could die in such a manner. Consequently, the case was handed over to the FBI, who began monitoring the writer. The writer understood that it was not anyone else who helped her, but Jules had used his powers to save her. Overcome with gratitude, she rushed to Milton's house and hugged the alien, thanking him for saving her life. The next day, when Milton visited the store, his daughter came to see him. She asked why he had bought so many apples, but he ignored her and walked away. Later, while the four of them were eating, they began to smell something strange. When they investigated, they discovered that the alien had brought a dead cat with him. They realized that the alien needed 7 cats for some reason, as he had drawn 7 cats on every page. Now, they had 1 dead cat and needed 6 more. Since Milton's daughter worked at an animal hospital, he called her to ask where dead cats were buried. She was very surprised and scared by his question, so she said nothing. They began searching for more cats, but during their journey, Milton and the writer were talking and did not notice when a cat ran into their car and was killed. They quickly got out of the car and collected the cat's body. The FBI agents watching the writer noticed them and were shocked when they saw them pick up the dead cat. In any case, they had found another dead cat, bringing their total to 3. Now they needed 4 more cats. The singer promised to find the remaining cats and went to a different part of the city. She managed to find 3 more cats, leaving only 1 cat needed. While discussing this, FBI agents arrived at their house, so the 3 quickly hid. The agents assumed no one was home and left. Once the agents were gone, they discussed the urgency of their situation. Milton remembered that the singer had a sick cat, so he suggested that she bring it. This suggestion made the singer very upset, and she began to cry in her car, feeling sad for her cat's suffering. Soon after, the writer joined her in the car and comforted her, apologizing for Milton's suggestion. The singer replied that Milton was right. Her cat had been sick for a long time, unable to see or hear, and in pain. She felt she should have euthanized her cat long ago, but she had not because the cat kept her company and alleviated her loneliness. To ease her cat's suffering, the singer agreed to Milton's suggestion. When they brought the cat to Jules, he looked at it carefully and gently put the cat to sleep, ensuring it did not suffer. Then he gathered all 7 cats and covered them with a silver cloth. This made the cats transform into a shiny red object. Jules used this object as fuel for his spaceship. After placing it in the spaceship, it began to fly, indicating it was now fully functional. The alien was finally able to return home. Before leaving, Jules invited Milton to join him. He gestured for Milton to come inside because, despite having children, Milton was alone. Milton considered going with him, but just then, his daughter called. She apologized for her past behavior and expressed her gratitude for having him as her dad. She wanted to rebuild their father-daughter relationship. Hearing this made Milton emotional, and he decided to stay in this world rather than leave with Jules. Once Jules took off in his spaceship, the FBI discovered what was happening and rushed to Milton's house to conduct a raid. Seeing this, the 3 quickly climbed into Jules' spaceship before the agents could capture them. They flew away to a location just outside their town where they exited the spaceship. They spoke kindly to Jules and thanked him, saying that although his visit was brief, it had changed their lives completely. Milton hugged Jules and expressed his gratitude for inviting him to his home, but he could not leave because his children were now with him. Jules said goodbye to them and boarded his spaceship, flying away. A few days later, the 3 friends were still together at Milton's house, enjoying each other's company thanks to the alien. Being old, they no longer felt lonely. They often spent time together and enjoyed each other's company. One day, the writer wondered if Jules would remember them. That same night, while Milton sat alone, he heard a loud noise coming from the back of his house, followed by a bright light. Milton smiled, realizing that their friend Jules had returned to visit them again. The movie ended here.